We have Cloudians with a nice little splash of the Dark Lords. I don't know. Seeing Cloudians actually performing in the year 2022 is absolutely amazing. And we have other cool goodies for you too. I think 30% of you guys have not smashed the crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can climb up the 100k ladder here. So the first deck list we're going to be looking at here was a Cloudian deck. Yeah, like good old Storm Dragon here back again, bringing us the beautiful extending options that you really want to see in a deck. And I mean, fairies. Archlord Christia back at it again. And then, of course, you're basically using this package to kind of streamline overall access points to facilitating larger access to the graveyard. So this is what happens when you merge Dark Lords with fairies, and you get away with it to get top 8 out of a local. So we have one Archlord Christia here. We have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. We have triple copies of Atlas because, honestly, like, between all of your Cloudians, you don't get a lot of big support for this. We have triple copies of Storm Dragon, triple copies of Turbulence, because this thing is the best one. We have one copy of Amdusk, triple copies of Archlord Ixchel, Dark Lord Ixchel for your discard outlet, 2 copies of Nasty for just the dual discard special, 2 copies of Superbia, this will be your extender for the Revive. And by the way, it revives any fairy, so you can technically bring back your Cloudians if you really want to. Then, of course, we have triple little Smoke Ball here, got to facilitate those big link combos. Then we have triple copies of Banishment, just free adding. One Called by the Grave because hand traps are bad. We have triple copies of Aerosol, just discarding Cloudian and placing counters to do what you do best is really good. Triple copies of Dark Contract to special summon back a Dark Lord. 2 Fog Controls to place 3 counters. Then we have 1 Monster Reborn, 2 Desizes, and 1 copy of Dark Lord Rebellion. Down here in the extra, we have 1 Saruja, 1 Anima, 1 Linkaribo with 1 Link Spider, 1 Unicorn with 1 Phoenix, 1 Griffin, 1 Masquerena, 1 Heralded Mirage Lights, 1 Dehark, 1 Condemned Dark Lord, 1 BLS, 1 Apo with the 1 Access Code with the 1 Abyssal here. Wrapping up your first list here. Next list here is Marincess. I saw this went 4-0 on Twitter today, and I can't remember the profile. I saved the image, and then Twitter reloaded on me, and I lost it. So it was a recommended post, so I'm sorry I don't have your name to share with this, but this really caught my attention because I saw offerings to the Doomed in here, so I wanted to profile this and cover this because this is actually really cool, because you thought Sky Striker was the only one doing it? No. We have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, triple copies of Blue Tang with the 1 Mandarin, we have 2 copies of Pascalis, triple copies of Seahorse with the 1 Sleepy Maiden, triple copies of Spring Girl, 2 copies of Silent Sea Nettle. Hey, free extending options to reload back up is always going to be good. We have 1 Called by the Grave with triple Signet Mining, triple copies of Forbidden Droplet, 1 Battle Ocean, 2 copies of Dive. You notice the Dive has just been pushed down to 2 in a majority of these lists. I think the general consensus is, yeah, this is fine. We have triple copies of Papa Monster, but who cares about the draw phase? 2 copies of Pod Desices for draw power. We have triple copies of Goes in Match because floodgates are good. We have triple copies of Infinite Permanence and 1 copy of Marincess Wave. Down here in the extra, we have 1 Wonder Heart, 2 copies of Sea Angel with the 1 Marbled Rock, 1 Bubble Reef with the 1 Crystal Heart. We have 1 Coral Triangle, 2 Coral Anemones, 2 copies of Blue Sluggeroo, 1 Argonaut. We have 1 Iria Charmer with 1 Totally Awesome and 1 Bahamut Shark. Our side deck here is triple Space Rock, triple Token Collector with 1 Cosmic Cyclone, 2 Twin Twisters, 2 Dimensional Barrier, and triple copies of Evenly Matched with 1 copy of Red Reboot here. Wrapping up a pretty cool teched out version of Marincess. And I do love when you can see decks like this step up and show the world, hey, you know what? We can do things. All right, next up here was Plunder Patrol. This was top 16 out of Nationals. Jojo reached out and said, hey, Robbie, talk about my list. I was like, absolutely. I do love when we can see Plunder Patrol, stack up. It's been one of the roguiest rogue decks in the format, and quite honestly, you can thank this card right here for facilitating some of the better stuff. It's almost like when you put a generic Omni Negate inside of Rogue, that it can be successful. It's almost like this is also like what the package was meant to do, was to facilitate combo for these Rogue decks, and I think it's been working out pretty well. So we have 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 2 copies of Black Eyes, triple copies of the Bluebeard. We have 1 Doggeron with 1 Effect Veiler, 2 copies of Golden Hair with the 1 Radion. We have 2 copies of Redbeard, 1 copy of Thunder King Kaiju, 1 Griffon Rydar with 2 Water Enchantress. And then we have triple copies of Whitebeard, 1 Called by the Grave with the 1 Dracoback, 1 copy of Emblem with the 1 Faithful Adventure, then of course 1 Foolish Barrel, 2 Droplets, the 1 Slumber with the 2 Lightning Storms, triple Shipyard, 2 Right, 1 Terraforming, triple Talents of course, triple Imperm, and the 1 Booty. And we have 1 Almirage, triple copies of Blackbeard with the 1 Totally Awesome, 2 copies of the Morik, 1 Bahamut, 2 copies of Bran, 1 Starving Venom with 1 Dracostelia, 2 Lice, and then 1 Mudmud. Then we have 2 copies of Lancia, triple copies of Droll and Lockbird, triple Token Collector, 2 Super Poly, 2 Anti-Spell, and triple copies of Evenly Matched here, wrapping up your Plunder Patrol list. And ladies and gentlemen, you know, the amount of players that just don't know how to handle this matchup. You know, I mean, they can obviously, you know, deploy the Fire one via the Kaiju here to kind of set up and do the better value on things. But to be perfectly honest with you, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players just don't know how to read and handle this matchup. It amazes me every single time. Next up here is our Despia list, but it's not pure Despia. We're playing Dinomorphia in here. Now, if you haven't noticed, the Dinomorphia package has pretty much quieted down for a little while, and that's not necessarily a good or a bad thing. It's just, it's gone back to the backside of Rogueville, and a lot of players have just kind of forgot about this deck, which means when a walking talking floodgate monster shows its ugly head out of nowhere here, a lot of players are going to just be like, ugh, like, what the heck does that thing do? When archetypes get forgotten about, that's a good chance for them to strike. So yeah, we've merged Dinomorphia with Despia. This was one of the original incarnations out of Japan that saw a little bit of success. So we have 1 Ablydium, triple copies of Luba, triple copies of Ash Blossom with 2 Tragedies. We have 1 Destrudo, 1 copy of Diplos. We have triple Thurzia with 2 Fallen of Albaz. We have 1 Mercurier with triple Branded Fusion, 2 Branded in Red, and the 1 Branded Lost. Triple copies of Branded Opening with the 1 Called by the Grave, 1 Foolish Barrel, 2 copies of Droplet with the 1 Gold Sark, 1 Banishment, 2 Domain, 3 Frenzy, and triple Imperm here, wrapping up our main deck. Down in the next deck is 1 Psychic End Punisher. Oh my gosh. The fact that you can actually make this card, look at your opponent and go, what are you going to do about it? Yeah, I'd be scared too. One of the best boss monsters. We have 1 Dracostelia, 2 Mirror Jades, 1 Masquerade, 2 Lubellions, 1 Guardian Chimera, 2 Stealth Greena, 1 Rextrum with the 1 Kingrina. Then we have 1 Quadartus with 2 Albion. And then we have triple Space Rock, triple Twin Twister, 2 Deck Devs. Oh yeah, you can technically Deck Devy this big guy. That's cute. We have triple Evenly, 1 Red Reboot, and triple copies of Solemn Judgment here, wrapping up your interesting combination hybrid here. And the last as we have for this hero or video is Hero. This made 108th out of Nationals. You know, a lot of people don't give a lot of credit to the later half of the room, but, you know, Dark Angel's back, showing the world that, hey, you know, this deck is still a rogue contender. It can still mess up players. So we have 2 copies of Elemental Hero Stratos for searching, 2 copies of Shadow Mist. We have 1 Liquid Soldier with the 1 Honest Neos, 2 copies of Malicious, 1 Denier with 1 Plasma, and of course the 1 Dark Angel. We have triple copies of Faris, 1 Increase, 2 Vions with 2 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. We have 1 Rhoda, 1 Poly with 1 Miracle Fusion. We have triple copies of Mass Change, 2 Fusion Destinies, triple A Hero Lives, 1 copy of Foolish Barrel, and then we have 1 Call by the Grave, triple Forbidden Droplets with 2 Talents, and triple copies of Infinite Permanents here, wrapping up our main deck. Down in the next deck, we have 1 Dread Decimator, 1 Wonder Driver, 2 copies of Cross Crusader with the 1 Baguski, 1 copy of Dystopia with 1 Dangerous Lad with 1 DP. Then we have 1 Acid, 1 copy of Blast, 2 Danklaws, 1 Absolute Zero, 1 Escuridao, and 1 Sunriser. Then we have 2 DD Crows, 2 copies of Droll and Lockbird, 2 Space Rocks, 2 Twin Twisters, triple Evenly Matched, 1 Red Reboot, and triple copies of Solemn Judgment, wrapping up your chunk of list for this. Anybody else notice the fact that, like, a lot of these lists just kind of blend together in terms of the side deck? Because, you've seen a lot of this blockage here. Like, it's all been very standard stabilized at this point for a lot of the metagame, so I'm not really surprised. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.